In a huge setback for the Aam Aadmi Party, the Delhi High Court today ruled that Arvind Kejriwal's arrest in the Delhi liquor policy case is valid. The court dismissed the Chief Minister's petition against his arrest and said his remand can't be called illegal. Aam Aadmi Party has said that they will be moving the Supreme Court now, and they continue to call this a case of political conspiracy. We ask on the show, has life come a full circle for Arvind Kejriwal? After all, the anti-corruption crusader is in jail on corruption charges. Joining me on the show, Priyanka Kakkar of the Aam Aadmi Party and Shazia Ilmi of the BJP shortly. And later on the show, we'll also have Union Minister Hardeep Puri as he will weigh in on the Delhi High Court verdict. First up, here's what happened in the court.
In a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party ahead of the general elections, the Delhi High Court today ruled that the Delhi Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, will stay in jail for the time being. The court also dismissed Kejriwal's plea challenging his arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in the alleged liquor scam. Aam Aadmi Party said they are taking the battle to the Supreme Court. Some significant observations were made by the Delhi High Court today. The High Court said, referring to Kejriwal's plea before his arrest, that his statement be recorded virtually. The court said, investigation cannot be as per the convenience of the accused. The court also junked arguments that the arrest was politically motivated. The High Court said they weren't looking at the Centre versus Kejriwal matter, but at Arvind Kejriwal versus Enforcement Directorate. Different laws do not apply to the Chief Minister, the court also remarked, adding that it had examined whether Kejriwal's arrest was correct under law, not its timing. The High Court also said material collected by the Enforcement Directorate shows Arvind Kejriwal allegedly demanded a bribe.
कोर्ट ने ये भी कहा है कि एविडेंस मिला है और एविडेंस जो है मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग और मनी ट्रेल पूरा मिला है, ये सारी जिक्र जो है, ये सारा जिक्र जो है जजमेंट में है। केजरीवाल ने कहा कि अरेस्ट गलत है, कोर्ट ने उसकी जो दलील है, उसकी जो बहस है वो खारिज कर दी, बोले अरेस्ट लीगल है।
While the court has said that they have looked at the entire matter from legal point of view, with just few days left for the elections, there is no doubt that Kejriwal's continued incarceration will have a massive blow for the Aam Aadmi Party at this crucial time. This is Aishwarya Jain with journalist Xavier Thomas for NDTV in Delhi.
In a huge setback for the Aam Aadmi Party, the Delhi High Court has in fact ruled that Arvind Kejriwal's arrest in Delhi liquor policy case is valid. The BJP has come out all guns blazing, seeing this certainly almost an endorsement of their political stand. Joining me now is Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. Mr. Puri, really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to NDTV. Court has made remarks on the plea challenging the arrest, not on bail. So it's just legal grounds of arrest being found bona fide, not merits of the accusation. That is the point that is being made by Aam Aadmi Party.
I think the issue that was before the court was not a one of granting bail. It was a challenge to Section 19 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Aam Aadmi Party was questioning and challenging the arrest of Mr. Kejriwal. And the court, the learned judge, was unsparing. I use my words very carefully, unsparing. She said that Mr. Kejriwal, both in his individual capacity as Chief Minister and as the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, was complicit. He participated in the formulation of the excise policy, and I want to remind you, Mariaji, that the policy was formulated on September 4th, 2020, when the entire country was reeling under the effect of the pandemic. People were dying, they needed oxygen, but Mr. Kejriwal was busy formulating an excise policy. This policy came into being in November 21 and was around till July 2022. And this policy led to unprecedented levels of criminal activity and corruption. Today the judge said, and it is very important because earlier Mr. Kejriwal had taken the position that Mr. Vijay Nair, who was the kingpin there, did not report to him. He reported to Atishi Marleen and to Mr. Bharadwaj. Today the judge said, but you participated in your individual capacity. You as AAP convener, you sought kickbacks, and that money trail found itself all the way to the Goa election. The point is being made here is very clear that the evidence before the court which the enforcement directorate produced made it absolutely clear that the arrest was an order and that Mr. Kejriwal will have to respond. To which an answer, a point was made by Mr. Kejriwal's lawyers, but you know, this is an election. He said this election has got nothing to do with it. Then they brought up the money trail and they said electoral bonds. They said electoral bonds have nothing to do with it. Here is a case where Mr. Kejriwal was personally involved in the formulation of the excise policy. As Aam Aadmi Party convener, he asked for kickbacks, and the approvers' statements which were recorded by a court, not by an agency, that is in pursuance of a 100-year law. So I think Mr. Kejriwal has to face the consequences of a situation and of actions which are entirely of his making.
But Mr. Puri, Aam Aadmi Party still calls it a conspiracy. They are saying show a single money which has been recovered.
Madam, you have the statements of the approvers. You have all the other evidence. This case is just beginning. You don't show the evidence right in the beginning. They were questioning the arrest and saying that it is illegal in terms of Section 19 of the PMLA. I went through the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and nothing that was said in the court, and the court has held firmly that the arrest was perfectly in order and that it will proceed. Now Mr. Kejriwal has the option as part of due process to go up and appeal, but that's a separate issue. This court has found him, no relief has been provided. You use the word setback. I'm not used to using words like this because Mr. Kejriwal has had one setback after another. In 2011, he participated in the Anna Hazare rally in Ramlila grounds. What happened in that rally? He was fighting corruption. Who was in power then? It was the Congress party. And today what has happened? In 2024, that same place in Ramlila ground, they meet. And what happens there? वो जो भ्रष्ट corrupt लोग थे, उनके गले मिल गए वहाँ. So this is a political narrative which he will try in his defense. I personally don't think, and I'm quite confident now that there is any, there are any takers for it in the legal process or for that matter in the political process, no matter how hard he tries to play victim.
But Mr. Puri, the day Sanjay Singh was given bail, Aam Aadmi Party went to town with the order as if they have, they have been acquitted. Today a judicial process is being dubbed by the BJP as guilty verdict against Kejriwal.
I want to draw, Mariaji, a very basic and a substantive distinction. Here is a case which was he was not a bail application. This was questioning the legality of his arrest. And I think the court has come down very clearly. What the Aam Aadmi Party says outside when a case is pending, just that you are given bail doesn't mean that you've been acquitted in the case or the case has gone away. So I think there is a lot of, verbal jugglery going on with the Aam Aadmi Party. I saw that reunion where the gentleman you named who just come out on bail, he met the Chief Minister of Punjab in great excitement, lifted him up. I mean, that's their way of political posturing. I mean, if I were a Karyakarta of the Aam Aadmi Party, I'd be very worried as to the kind of charges which are piling up. An outfit which started its political life in an anti-corruption crusade is now deeply mired in that corruption itself.
Yes, but the question also is, Mr. Puri, about what the Aam Aadmi Party and other political opponents of yours say about absence of level playing field. That yes, this is about the arrest, which the High Court says was legal, but the court hasn't spoken about the merit of the case per se, and then Aam Aadmi Party and your other political opponents may be right in saying that in the run-up to elections there is no level playing field.
Well, let me take you up on your yes but style of questioning. Yes, today they questioned the legality of the arrest and the court said no, it is totally in order. Insofar as the evidence comes and the issue, the substantive charges, to say that there is an election doesn't give you immunity from arrest. If you have wrongdoing, the concerned agencies will step in. This applies equally to the Aam Aadmi Party as it does to any other political party. Where is the question of a level playing field? He was given 9 opportunities after November 2023 to respond to the summons of the ED. If he had received a summons, first time he should have gone and said, I'm in the clear, this is the facts which are before us, and the story might be over. But he evaded it. After the 9th summit, they visited him in his Sheesh Mahal. The Aam Aadmi had moved meanwhile from muffler and no red lights and small, what is that car called, Wagon R or something like that, to the Sheesh Mahal, and he was arrested. And he is now first in judicial custody, now otherwise. So the point is, you can't mix these two up. Elections will come and go. But where there are serious charges of criminal conspiracy, the court has used this word. I can tell you, it uses the word and says that there is upheld his arrest and subsequent remand holding the ED was able to produce enough material, statements of approvers and AAP's own candidate stating that Kejriwal was giving money for the Goa election and that he is personally responsible, personally involved, and that he himself asked for kickbacks. Now the other day he turned around and said as Chief Minister, Mr. Vijay Nair didn't report to me. He tried to throw 2 of his colleagues under the bus, but that is not going to wash in the court because he has a responsibility both in the formulation of the policy and in the demand of kickback. Now if he can turn around later and prove that he was not involved or is not correct, that's another story. But today the limited focus is on the court judgment today where the arrest was deemed to be perfectly legal.
That brings me to my last question, Mr. Puri. Despite these scathing comments, Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party insist that he will continue as the Chief Minister. Is this leading to a constitutional crisis?
Well, I am neither a constitutional expert nor am I involved either way whether he continues or not. But I as somebody who's put in 50 years of public life, I joined the Foreign Service at the age of 21. And that was, I'm now today 72. I think this is the height of shamelessness. If after being arrested, after being in Tihar along with several of your meetings, or you can have a cabinet meeting inside Tihar, but that doesn't mean that it is all right. I think it is entirely shameless. And if anybody has any shame and anybody responds to normal standards of political decency, he should put in his resignation now straight away so that somebody else can run the government. Because you cannot run the government when you are behind bars. Simple.
You are saying that Arvind Kejriwal
and this will
resign.
set a precedent. Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt about that.
So how is the BJP planning to take this up? That's my last question, sir. Because,
no, I am.
The court told Mr. Kejriwal not to politicize the court hearing. Should the BJP also refrain from calling Kejriwal guilty as trial has not even started?
No, I chose my words very carefully. Nothing that I said he's guilty. I said the court said very clearly he is involved in his personal capacity. He is involved as Chief Minister and he is involved as Aam Aadmi Party convener. And the court has made that assertion based on the evidence that was before the court. Now how the court proceeds is when the trial will start. It's only after that he will either be held guilty or not guilty. So BJP is not saying that. Certainly you have many BJP, but today I am appearing before you in my capacity as speaking on behalf of the BJP. And I am saying very categorically that today's judgment is that based on the evidence which was before the court, they said that the arrest was not illegal. That is the limited point.
So based on today's judgment, you as a representative of the BJP and Union Minister are of the opinion that Mr. Kejriwal must resign.
Well, I am there. I am giving my opinion and my personal view that he should resign. How can you be behind bars and conduct the affairs? Delhi is the capital city of the country. I said in another such interview, it's a very special place. It's not only the capital city, you are the elected government at the local level, but you are in jail. Some of your other colleagues are in jail. I mean, if it had left to me, I'm speaking personally, the entire lot should resign. But he should certainly step aside as Chief Minister and allow the processes to take place in the normal course. And the fact that there is an election does not provide you either an alibi or it provides you an excuse from not proceeding. If you were a sitting chief minister and you committed these things as another one, you have to face the consequences. That is the law of the land.
All right, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, Union Minister, really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to NDTV. Priyanka Kakkar of the Aam Aadmi Party is joining us. We also have Shazia Ilmi of the BJP. Priyanka, beginning with you, given the nature of observations which have been made by the court, how much of a setback does the Aam Aadmi Party see this in the order of, the rejection of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's plea for bail? Priyanka,
see, Maria, good evening to everybody. I think the country is in a very... the echo is a problem. I think it is an unfortunate situation today that the Chief Minister, you'll have to fix it.
Please go ahead.
So I was saying that it is an unfortunate situation where today a sitting chief minister has been arrested on mere hearsay, he said, she said evidence, because the most primary evidence so far against the chief minister after 2 years of investigation and several raids against our ministers is that two people, one of whom is a BJP candidate in Andhra Pradesh, Mangutta Reddy, he gives a bayan against our Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal ji, and the second bayan is from Sharath Reddy, who gives 60 crores to BJP after his arrest. Both these people were called South Liquor Lobby ka kingpin by the BJP for the longest time and by its ED. Now, unfortunate is the situation that in 2018, the PMLA laws were amended to an extent. You see what happened in 2018 first, section 45 of the PMLA was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. But then what happened? So, again, there's a lot of echo. But then what happened? Again, the BJP amended laws to an extent that it revived this unconstitutional provision, section 45, which is again pending before the Supreme Court and is likely to come up in July. Now, what happens under this law is, on a mere he said, she said, without any evidence, without an iota of evidence, without any recovery, without any trail of money, 2 years the investigation by the so-called premier investigation agencies, and nothing on record for 2 years.
But
even
now,
now,
the Aam
no
Aadmi
charge
Party,
sheet,
while seeking,
no charge sheet against Arvind Kejriwal ji, no FIR against Arvind Kejriwal ji.
That his arrest was illegal, had talked about the timing of the arrest. Here is the court which says clearly that the Delhi High Court doesn't find any mala fide in this. Second point, you had questioned about...
That's all right.
How,
the same court...
Yes. Judges have also said that they are bound by law, not by politics, and judgments are written by legal principles and not by political affiliations. So all the arguments which were made by Aam Aadmi Party after Mr. Kejriwal's arrest have in a way been dismissed by the court.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect simply because these two approver statements are yet to be tested in trial court, and they have come on record for the first time. Our arguments have come on record for the first time. Please understand, we went to the court for what? The 10-day remand which was given to the ED, which remand is already over because now he's in judicial custody. We have challenged even that. We will challenge the judicial custody later. We will challenge the bail later. We will not let any aspect go. Please understand, this was not a bail application. We are saying this 10-day remand that you took our sitting chief minister behind bars is also incorrect. And we will go to the end to make sure that this also comes to fore. Now, the same court, the same Honorable High Court, with all due respect, unfortunately, we respectfully disagree with the decision. The same court also said while denying Sanjay Singh ji's bail in the very same matter, had said that there are specific statements that Sanjay Singh ji took 2 crores. Which statements, which bail application, which observations, findings were categorically rejected by the Supreme Court. It took us 6 months to get there, but we did. So what is happening is, Maria, that it's a very unfortunate situation that we have a very vindictive government in the center who wants to finish the only government which brings a revenue surplus budget and gives several welfare schemes to its citizens. You will please have to see how can we be corrupt when we are presenting a revenue surplus budget. There is BJP सारे इनके घाटे में states. ये लोग 200 लाख करोड़ का लोन चढ़ा दिए देश के ऊपर because they are corrupt people. They fill their pockets. We give back to our citizens.
Shazia, the Aam Aadmi Party has been told by the court that there should not be any politics over it. Why is the BJP bringing politics in it and declaring him guilty?
BJP is not doing that. It is these guys who are going all over the countryside and saying that BJP is the one behind them. But the fact of the matter was that the entire matter was flagged by the Congress party first. And not just that, the High Court today had some very
They also said BJP is involved.
Had very scathing remarks. And our friend here, who could hear the echo, I think she can hear the echo of her own lies, which are reverberating, not just in her own head, but the hemisphere around. Whether it's stratosphere or ionosphere, the lies of Aam Aadmi Party seem
Maria,
to be
I can't deal with this rhetoric. Please tell her to tell me why did she take money from 60 crores from BJP? They called him Kingpin of South India. Imagine how money came to us.
She was patiently listening to your point of view. You have to listen to her as well.
I can imagine how flustered. I can imagine anybody very flustered when the High Court says that the giving of bail to an approver is a judicial process. It has nothing to do with politics. When the High Court says, and it's very damning, that there can't be two separate laws for the Chief Minister and for others, and this has been said many times, when the High Court says categorically that there is a money trail and it has been established, which has earlier been said also by the Supreme Court, it is very clear that these people are just obfuscating, they are scared, they have been found with their hand in the cookie jar, stealing the cookie, and now the world can see it. So they indulge in gobbledygook. They make wild allegations, knowing very, very well that they have no evidence or to substantiate it. Here, the High Court says very categorically that this is our decision. This has nothing to do with the ED. And High Court has also said, please do not suggest as to how the investigation will be done. That the accused will not decide that and not use political arguments, saying that the arrest at the judicial custody is absolutely legal. And there is nothing illegal about it.
I have just enough time for Priyanka. Priyanka, the court says that the ED was able to place enough material, statements of approvers, and their own candidate stating he was given money for the Goa elections. It completes the chain regarding the money sent for the Goa elections.
No, Maria, no. Please understand, if that were the case, then a guilt is proved and no trial is required. And even now, Shazia ji has lied to you that a money trail is established. She probably doesn't understand judicial proceedings.
No, I know very
if
well.
That were the case, if she will stop laughing and listen to me, she'll understand. If that were the case, there is no requirement for a trial.
Shazia, please
it is still a matter of trial.
Shazia, please listen to her. Please listen to her. Let her make her point. Let Priyanka Kakkar speak.
Let me also tell you. Let me also tell you what happens. When do you need why do investigation agencies bring in an approver? They bring in an approver when they're not able to recover a penny. So they use approver. Approver is the most untrusted friend.
Nothing like that.
They bring in an approver statement. In this case, approver kaun the? Madam, it is like that. You will need to go to court to understand this.
Madam, it is not like that.
The only time you need an approver is when there is no evidence. And what has happened in PMLA, now the approver statement will be first tested. These are two Bhajpais whose statement will be first tested. Please understand.
No, please.
But Priyanka, Shazia, please, let her speak, please. Let her speak. Priyanka, I have just 30 seconds to ask. I have just 30 seconds. No, Shazia, please. Shazia, please.
So I think it's quite
Priyanka, my question is what next for the Aam Aadmi Party? Because when Sanjay Singh got bail, all of you were celebrating it as if that was the ultimate victory of the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, with the kind of statements which have been made by a court,
Maria,
it is always a judicial process. You celebrated that process. What about this process? How much of a setback is this judgment of the court?
You understand, Maria, what happens under PMLA is your show format does not permit me, or I'll tell you why a regular bail under PMLA is no less than an acquittal. Now that was a regular bail under PMLA. Right now we are challenging the remand, 10-day remand. So PMLA is a draconian law on basis of which you can make statements. You don't need evidence. Those statements will be tested.
This is about the High Courts.
Madam, please, आपने 2018 में जो संशोधन किए, ये आम आदमी पे भी लगेंगे. अभी हमें लग रहे हैं.
No. Do not indulge in this gobbledygook. Because
that is based on the statements. That is based on the Bhajpa statements. That is what the High Court recorded.
All right, we've really come to the end of this discussion. Of course, this will continue to play out. Election season is still heating up, and battle for Delhi will see more of tu-tu meh-meh between Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.